Hey guys, what's up? Gargomon here, and it's been a while since I did another Digimon deck profile, but here it is. I've been kind of busy with life recently, so I should have more time in the last half of February since I am on leave right now. But yeah, let's just get right into the deck profile first, because this is a pretty fun deck to play. It is definitely not one of the best decks in this set, but it does have a lot of potential. Digimon just needs more support. But anyway, let's just get right into the deck. So for the Digitamons, we're running one Tanimon and 4 Gummymons. Tanimon is entirely a floater slot. You can run this. You can run pretty much any other green Digitamon if you want in this deck. You just go through more Tamas in this deck than usual because you are running Willis, so you have potential to hatch more than one egg per turn. So you kind of want to take advantage of that. And Tanimon is just one of them. I want to run a Tama that gives power, so I'm running that. You can run any other ones you want. Gummymon is here just to help you get the extra draws. But yeah, there are some situations where Tanimon is pretty good. Alright, so let's go on to level 6s. So for level 6s, we are running 4 of the MegaGargomon. So on evolution, you can, if you have a tamer, you can rest from your opponent's Digimon, and then during the opponent's active phase, they cannot unsuspend. So it's a pretty good stun card. Second skill is when this card attacks once per turn, if you can bounce something that's this card's power or less back to your opponent's hand. So this is where the kind of extra power boost comes in handy. But we're also running the Gargomons and we're also running the Gargomons that gives power, so you can pump those number ups pretty high. Pretty good control card overall. But definitely not as good as the good old Nidhoggmon. This is one of the best removal cards in the game, in my opinion. On evolution, Digiburst 4, rest all your opponent's level 5k or less Digimons, and then you can return everything to the bottom of the deck. Every rested Digimon to the opponent at the bottom of the deck. So a very good board wipe. And this deck, there's a lot of cards that can help you rest Digimon. So you know, this will be a pretty good board wipe if your opponent's playing a deck that is kind of slow. We'll go over the combos a bit later. But next we are also running the Rapidmons. So this is on evolution, you can tap one of your opponent's Digimon, or rest one of your opponent's Digimon. And the variant skill is if your opponent has a rested Digimon, or when you rest a opponent's Digimon, you get a security check. So if your opponent knows how to play against this deck, they can just keep suspending their stuff on their turn so that you don't get proc your effects. So that's one of the ways that you can play around this deck. It's a pretty big flaw in my opinion. But then if your opponent has rested Digimon, then I guess it'll be too good or something. But I think this is fine. You can combo this pretty well with this, so you can Digivolve into the Rapidmon, tap your opponent's level 6 if it's not in tap position, and then Digivolve into Nidhoggmon to return it back to the bottom. And if you're forcing them to have their stuff tapped, then it makes your Nidhoggmon even easier. So you can just Digivolve in this and then return it to the bottom without having to do anything else. So it's kind of playing mind games with your opponent with this deck. If you don't. If they don't rest their stuff, you can rest their stuff for them. So overall, not bad Rapidmon, not a bad card. In addition to the lineup, for the other level 5s, we're just running the standard Digisorption cards. We're running the Blossomon, and we're also running Algomon. These cards are just really good. If you don't like the Rapidmon, you can run a 4th Blossomon. But I think 4/4 is fine. The Digisorption is good, but it's not. I mean, the Algomon I guess is kind of mandatory, but Digisorption is it's still really good. So that's why I highly recommend these. Even though there is another Rapidmon available for you to use, I just like using the Digisorption instead because it's a free Digivolution. So going into your MegaGargomon and Digimon is definitely more worth. Next, we are running 4 Rapidmon. This is the Rapidmon from BT8. the Gold Rapamon. So it has Armored Purge, as with all Armored Evolutions, and it also has a pretty good effect. For each of your tamers, you can rest on your opponent's Digimon, and then you can give 3 rested Digimon minus 5,000. So this is actually a really good card. This card is being run in a lot of yellow decks now as well, so definitely pick these up if you guys can, because I think it's just going to be a card that's going to be more sought after as the game goes on, just because it is really flexible. You can play in yellow and green, so yeah, it's pretty good. For the other level 4s, we're running the Gargomon from BT3. It is a 1 cost, and it does get 1,000 power if your opponent has a rested Digimon, so very easy condition to fill. We're also running 3 of the Gargomon from BT or EX2. This one, it's a little bit more restricted. You have to rest a opponent's Digimon in order to get that to the 2K, but not that hard with this deck. And then on your turn, if you Digivolve and you have a tamer, you can cost -1. So it does become a 1 cost, but it's a little bit more convoluted, and you don't get to use this effect in your raising area. So you have to push your little Terramons out. So each one, both of them are okay, but I actually kind of like this one a little bit more just because it's 1 cost with no caveat. Next, we're running 2 Arbormon. It's the Hybrid Spirit. Nothing else much to say. You should run this deck. You should run this card because we're running so many tamers in this deck. So you can get those cheap shots in. So that's all the level 4s in this deck. Next, for the level 3s, we're running a lot of Terriermons. We're running the EX2 Terriermon. Whenever you play a tamer, you get +1 memory. So your Izzies become 1 cost to play. So very good. And then also, when the opponent's Digimon is rested, you get +2K. So you can see how your MegaGargomon can pump up to be pretty big, so that you can pretty much return anything your opponent has on the field, given you have the correct line. Next, we're running the BT8 Terriermon. So this on play, you can add a Gargomon or a Rapidmon to your hand, or Gargomon, Rapidmon name, a card in your hand. It's only 1. Unlike the Renamon and Gilmon, you can't grab the tamer because this came out in BT8 before Henry came out. So, you know, it's I kind of like the Gilmon and Renamon more, but you can look at 5, so you have more targets to look at. So I guess that's also okay. Next, we're running the memory, or the memory gain negate, I guess, Terriermon. So this is a BT3 Net Terriermon. It stops your opponent from getting memory, except from the tamer effects. So Hammer Sparks are useless, and yeah. Also the security bombs are useless as well. Security bombs with the memory effects. So yeah, pretty good. Next, we are running 2 of the Calamon. Calamon is the only. This is the only deck where I will run Calamon, mainly because it's in Gilmon and Renamon. I don't think they're as good, especially in Renamon. There's only one target, but I think in the Gilmon deck as well, there's just better stuff to run. But in the Gilmon deck, or in the Terriermon deck, since you do have Digisorption, you can use the Calamon to Digizorp if you need it. And it's also, having more Digimon on your board will kind of help this deck out a bit. If you have this on the field, your opponent's going to probably try to get rid of it. It's definitely not hard to get rid of it, but in the events that they do, that's one of your Terriermons are safe. Just because we do have Armor Purging and a lot of other utilities in this deck, so having rookies on the board will definitely help, or having Digimon on the board will help you out with your game plan in the long run. And Calamon, it's definitely not bad, especially in this deck. We have cheap Digivolutions, so the memory that you get back potentially makes your Digivolution free. So yeah, Calamon is it's okay in this deck. There's a lot of other. I've seen one of my friends is running the ADR Searcher instead of the Calamon. I think it's a little silly, but it's okay. It kind of does this. It kind of has the same purpose, but this one it is only a 1 cost to play if you have a Terriermon, Guilmon, or Venomon, or Impmon on the field. So, yep. Whereas the ADR Searcher is a 1 cost no matter what, as long as you only have one on the field, or if you don't have any on the field. So, you guys can kind of decide, but Calamon I think is more thematic anyway, so I'm running the Calamon. Alright, so next onto the options and tamers. So we're gonna put these away first. Oops. Alright. So for the option, we're only actually running one option, we're running the Hidden Potential Unleash. I was running Green Memory Boost instead, but I kind of feels like it feels like it slows the deck down a bit, especially with this deck. It's really not a really fast deck, so I kind of took them out in order to run more tamers. Basically, kind of have the same purpose. Running 3 Henrys. Henry is kind of important in this deck. You want to not get memory choked, so running 3. And the effect to rest your opponent's Digimon is also pretty good. In case you didn't know, whenever your Gargomon or Rapidmon Digimon attacks, you can rest this tamer to rest one opponent's Digimon. So you can kind of kamikaze into a security and hope you don't die. And then you can Digivolve into Digimon and just return everything to the to the bottom opponent's deck. Next, we are running 2 Willis. Willis is here to help you get more Digitamas, as well as to reduce your cost for Rapidmon and Rapidmons and Gargomons. You might want to run one more if you don't like the Izzies, because I'm running 4 Izzies in this deck. You can run through 3 if you want, mainly because Digivolving into the Gargomon, it's a guaranteed memory reduction. But since we aren't running a full Gargomon and Rapidmon deck, there are chances where you won't be able to get the memory gain. So that's why we're running the Izzies instead. The downside to Izzy is if your opponent doesn't have a Digimon for you to rest, you won't get to use this effect. So give or take, but I kind of like my odds. And Izzy is also a 2 cost to play, so definitely cheaper than the Willis. But the Willis lets you hatch another Digimon, which helps you potentially get more draws. So really up to you guys to see how you guys want to do the ratios, but I'm Team Izzy. So let's kind of go over some of the main plays that you want to do in this deck. Obviously we have the Gargomon play where you want to beef up your Gargomon. So if we have something like this in our source. Yeah. If you have something like this, you're already having a really big line. So you can suspend one opponent's Digimon, and then you'll be able to get 14, and then you'll be 16. So 16 is pretty good. You can pretty much return all level 6s in most level 7s. What do you do if you don't have if your opponent is already rested? Then you go the other way. Of course, if you're going this way, you will have to have a Digihama in your source. So given that we have an example of this, if you're doing the Digiburst path, it won't matter what you have in your source, but it is kind of important to have the Rapidmon so that you can, if your opponent is not rested, you can rest them. Thank you very much. Rest them, and then just go into your Nidhogmon and just return that big Digimon and return the rest of the board if they have 5k or less Digimon. Even if things are not going according to plan, you can reduce their DP with this. So for example, you play this, reduce their DP, and then Digizorp into, Okay, let's refine that. So let's just say we have something like this. So we have this. You have some tamers on the board. You reduce your DP, and then what do? You're already using a lot of your memory. So how do you end your turn without, you know, getting screwed over next turn? So you have your Digizorp Digimon that can help you out with that. So devolve into this, assuming you have one tamer. Even if you're only able to rest one Digimon, that's fine. Just rest your biggest one. Rest your one that you cannot remove even after if you neg their DP. So you neg their DP. If the 3 Digimon, if you pop anything, that's great. If you don't pop something, that's fine as well. Because we're gonna go into Blossomon, Digivolve, because you can rest your own Digimon to the Digiabsorption. So then they have 5 Digimon, three Digimon with neg DP now, and then you're gonna Digivolve into Gargomon. I don't think I explained that properly the first time, but here we are. So, assuming they have one Digimon really big, you couldn't return it even if you neg their DP. It's fine. It's rested because of Repon's effect, and everything else that was kind of big, like level 5s or something, their DP is probably less than 5,000 now, so you're going to return them as well. So, that's another board wipe. So that's pretty much how you play this deck. It is, and then the St. Gargomon is here just for the more constant removals. So once you already have their board removed, they're going to have a hard time just rebuilding their board. So your St. Gargomon is just here to help you attack and then return everything else they have on the board back to the hand. And you can just keep attacking with your Gargomon. 13 KDP is pretty beefy as well, so they're not going to be able to run over it quite too easily. And of course we also have a lot of cards that can help you reduce evolution costs. So the 5 costs for these 2 Digimon aren't as scary. Having the memory boost will help your Digivolving a little bit easier, because if you have Henry, you go to 3 and then you just use your memory boost to go to 5, and then you can just go into this and it'll still be your turn. But again, the memory boost is a little bit clunky, but it's definitely an option that you can run if you feel like you need it. You can take out some Izzy's if you need it. But anyway, I've been rambling for too long. I think I've been out of the game for too long. I forgot how to talk. But that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Kardaku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Oh, make sure to use the affiliate links down below if you guys want to support the channel. And I'll definitely be making more Digimon content once BT9 comes out. I think it's coming out next week. So I'll be making more content for that. And I think that's my backlog. I might be doing some stuff for BT7 because I think that's coming out for English soon. Maybe do some updates. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And I'll see you guys later. See you guys.